and I've been wanting to show this several times. Listen what was said about Barryn Sorrell, okay, coming out of Texas. And again, we talked about how he and Matthew Golden are good buddies, right? And from Texas. Here's what Eli Berkovitz tweeted out. Okay, Dane Brugler with a pretty cool note on Barryn Sorrell. This got confirmed. I'm pretty sure the coach he's talking about is actually the Green Bay Packers staff. But listen what he had to say about Barryn Sorrell in the draft process.
As one team put it to me, when they interviewed Texas players and they asked them, if you could bring one Texas teammate with you, if we drafted you, who are you bringing with us, or who bringing with you? A lot of them, all of them mentioned Sorrell. And that's a pretty ringing endorsement for a player.
So every Texas player that got interviewed by this team, one of the questions they like to ask is, hey, you come under the league, you can only bring one teammate with you. Who's it going to be? And they said Barryn Sorrell.
Unanimously.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Really, really cool stuff, man.
Genuine person again. I mean, and that's just this draft. And it's one of those drafts where you're hoping that every single one of them hits, but you could see, you'd be happy with 3 of them. I feel like we could get 5 out of this draft. Seriously.
Right. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So here is the write-up on him. Obviously, we didn't do a full write-up on him before the draft. So let's dive into it now, all right? We put this together, actually yesterday I think it was. Green Bay Packers bolstered their defensive front in the 2025 NFL Draft, selecting Texas edge rusher Barryn Sorrell with the 124th pick in the 4th round. After prioritizing offensive weapons early with picks like Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden, TCU's Savion Williams, the Packers turned to defense to address their inconsistent pass rush. Sorrell, a 6'3", 256-pound force from Texas, brings athleticism, grit, and inspiring personal story that could make him a fan favorite and a cornerstone of Jeff Hafley's defensive scheme. This was him in high school at Holy Cross. Look at this kid right here. Being all pissed off. Look at the arms on that dude, man.
That's an off the bus player.
That's right. How many times you recruited a player like that in college football, Emilio?
Too many. Too many times. Athlete,
One of those 3-star gyms, right? That thing lit up. Yeah. All right. Here's his high school scouting report, coming out of high school into college. Hailing from Holy Cross High School in New Orleans, Louisiana, Barryn Sorrell was a 3-star recruit in the 2021 class, ranked as the 684th overall prospect by On3 industry ranking. At 6'3", 235, Sorrell showcased raw athleticism as a defensive end with a reported 4.7 second 40-yard dash and a knack for disrupting backfields. His senior year film highlighted his quick first step and relentless motor, earning him all-district honors. Sorrell drew offers from Missouri, Arizona State, Baylor, and Virginia, ultimately choosing the Texas Longhorns, where he developed into a productive and beloved team leader. College statistics says Sorrell's 4-year career at Texas saw him grow from a rotational player to a cornerstone of the Longhorns defense. After limited action in 2021, 7 tackles, 1 sack, he became a full-time starter in 22, amassing 38 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss over 13 games. His 2023 and 2024 season solidified his reputation, combining for 87 tackles, 10 sacks, 16.5 tackles for a loss, 49 pressures in 2024 alone, leading Texas in quarterback hurries. Career totals: 125 tackles, 15.5 sacks, 24.5 tackles for a loss, and 29 quarterback hits across 43 games. He started 40 of those 43 games, earning honorable mention all Big 12 honors in 22 and 23. So PFF grades for Sorrell: 54.9, 63.7, 72.9, 71.5. The pass rush grade last year, 74.6. Run defense grade, 73.0. All right. Detailed scouting report entering the draft. Let's just look at the RAS card here. Actually, let's hit this last little bit, and then we'll hit the RAS card. Sorrell's versatility allows him to play as a 4-3 defensive end or a 34 outside linebacker, though his lack of elite length may limit him against longer NFL tackles. He projects as a high-floor rotational pass rusher with the potential to develop into a starter if he refines his counter moves. His 19.4 mile per hour max velocity recorded in 24 underscores his closing speed, a trait that translates to chasing down the quarterbacks and running backs. So the RAS score was a 9.31, 6'3", 256, 28 bench reps, guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude's stout. Vertical jump, 34 inches. Broad jump of 10.01. 40-yard dash was a 4.68 40-yard dash. 20-yard split, 2.75. 10-yard split, 1.65. His shuttle, 4.36, scoring an 8.05. And his three-cone was a 7.06. All right. Injury and character concerns. Sorrell has been remarkably durable during starting 40 of 43 games over 3 seasons with no significant injuries reported. A minor ankle sprain in 23 didn't sideline him, and he played in all 16 games in 24, including 1.5 sacks in the college football playoff. Off the field, Sorrell is a high-character leader whose passion stems from personal tragedy, the loss of his older brother at the age of 16, which fueled his commitment to football. Described as a big-time locker room guy by Texas staff, Sorrell's work ethic and selflessness make him a perfect fit for Green Bay's culture. His emotional draft day press conference, where he tearfully thanked his family, resonated with fans and team brass alike. It was so damn cool sitting in that bowl at Lambeau watching them announce that pick. That was just, I will forever remember. That'd be probably one of my favorite draft moments of all time, Emilio. You were in there too. How cool was that? If this dude blows up, and listen, he's a 4th-round pick, he could be a bust. This could be a feel-good story that we never get to really, truly celebrate, right? Mm-hmm. But if he blows up and his game goes to the next level at the NFL level, bro, how fun is it going to be root for this dude, man?
Yeah, with a jersey number 99, right?
Dude, that's so dope.
He's just gonna eat just because of that, right? He is just gonna go to town. But you're right, the fact that we got 2, normally teams only get one walk across the stage unless you trade back in. And the fact that we had 2 of them, one later, like, and still thousands, hundreds of thousands of fans there, whatever it was that 3rd day, dude was just as excited. The fans were just as excited. And yeah, just incredible that, we ended up bringing him here.
Yeah. What do you think about him so far, Jacob?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Love the pick. Love the way that he stayed there. Like you guys talked about, watching him. Oh, dude, I was listening to Ryan's podcast today. I'm at work, and I usually have an earbud in, and I'll bop around. I'm mopping. I'm trying to, I get down with the real people. I was mopping, and I'm out on the floor.
You hearing this, Emilio?
I'm shooting. I'm talking to the old ladies. I'm chumming it up, and all of a sudden, I'm listening to Ryan in the background, and he gets into Sorrell's press conference, and it's just going through, and he gets into the part where he breaks down. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I start listening really intently as I'm watching. I had to run into the freaking break room because I'm like, just got something in both of my eyes. Like I was really freaking. I didn't watch. I've watched many clips, but I don't think I ever watched it all the way through of him trying to get through just naming his family and his friends and how his agent was like basically another extended family member. It was, dude. If you don't root for that guy, you got a cold, dead heart.
Yeah,
seriously.
Professor Cake says, how did so many scouts overlook Sorrell? I don't get how a super athletic SEC pass rusher fell all the way down to the end of day 2. That's something that Ryan said too, I believe, on that same pod, was like, everybody was looking around going, how is he still here? Like, thank God he was.
Wasn't there like 2, there was at least 2, I'm pretty sure, Texas D linemen taken before him,
well,
right?
I was just going to say, I think he's a product of like, the year before, the 2 big guys went. Then this year they had Vernon Broughton. They had 2 or 3 other people that got drafted on that defensive line. I think that maybe he was the diamond in the rough that got lost in the shuffle. And a lot of people, Alfred Collins, yep. And there was another, I thought, opposite edge or interior. Vernon Broughton, I know, was another one that went. So I just. Jesus, I just think that he really does have the ability to really make a difference, and quickly too, because what I saw a lot with him when you put his response to being drafted next to Rashawn Gary's, holy crap, like it was shocking how similar they were. They thanked their family. They had an emotional breakdown. They were so excited just to be drafted by this organization. We're hard to get ready, get to work. And I think that they both of them felt like they were a little bit underrated and weren't allowed to show what they could do in college. You know what I mean? They didn't show their actual, their true athletic and freak ability.
Yeah, Dan Fish said day 2 wasn't he early day 3. I think that's what Professor Cakes was saying, was how did he make it through the end of day 2?
Right.
You would expect him to go in day 2, I would imagine. So, draft projection, selected at 124 overall. Sorrell was considered a steal by Analysts with many assigning him a top 100 grade due to his athletic profile and production. In a deep edge rusher class, his fourth-round selection reflects the Packers' knack for finding value, as noted by Acme Packing Company, which dubbed him their best value pick. Sorrell's consensus projection was round 3 to 4, with NFL.com's Lance Zierlein grading him as a future average starter. His athletic comps to Pro Bowlers like Danielle Hunter and Trey Hendrickson, well, a pretty good comp right there, suggests a high ceiling if he develops further. Sorrell's draft day presence in Green Bay, where he awaited in the green room uninvited, added a storybook element to his selection, culminating in a memorable "Go Pack Go" chant from the fans. All right, so here's what Dane Brugler had to say. 3-year starter at Texas. Sorrell lined up primarily on the edge, 5 to 6 tech. That's what I noticed a lot of was 5 to 7 tech. And defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski, I think, front. A dependable player over his 40 starts in Austin. He showed gradual improvement each season and didn't receive enough credit in 24 for his impact on Texas's third-ranked defense. As a pass rusher, Sorrell flashes bully hands and an aggressive snatch attack, which became his signature move. So they call that snatch. I call that the punch and pull, where he'll literally hit somebody in the chest, grab their jersey, and pull them down. Right. And we call it a punch, pull, rip, because typically they'll punch, pull, and then they'll rip up. Now, I love the fact that when he does this snatch technique, right? Not that kind of snatch, Jacob. Get your head out. I see you over giggling like a unbelievable. So what I like about it is he does not complete the rip. And if you guys know in the NFL, if you do a rip move, the offensive line's allowed to hold. Okay, they're allowed to grab you. We've seen it all year last year with Rashawn Gary, right? So the fact that he punches, right, pulls, but he doesn't rip up, he just dips and goes under. If they hold him, that's going to be a hold. It's not a rip move, is the way I understand it. So I think that's important to note and understand there. So let's see here. Became his signature move, locking out and pulling the balance of blockers away from them. Led Texas with 49 pressures and 24, despite finishing fourth on the team in sacks. He is relentless in the run game, but he will lose contained against cutback runs and needs to play with better gear down to eliminate missed tackles in pursuit. Overall, Sorrell passes the eye test, and the foundation of his game is power. What does Greg Cosell say all the time, Emilio? Like, if you're going to play at the NFL level, you have to be able to play with power, rushing the quarterback.
Right? Yeah, you absolutely need it to be able to play. He said you can have moves, you can have this and that, but if you're not going to be able to beat him with power, or at least be able to come at him with power, any offensive lineman, even Ross Tucker was saying that. He was saying he's saying I could handle. If I got beat on the outside once or twice, I can handle that. I cannot stop if the dude is stronger than me. It's a lot harder to stop a power move.
Yeah, first step and beating you with power. Those are the two most important things according to Ross Tucker. So, it says which sets up different ways for him to win. Although his average short area athleticism might limit the frequency of those wins against NFL blockers, his makeup and motor will give him a chance to carve out a role in a 4-3 scheme. So he had a 3rd to 4th round grade on him. Dane Brugler did. Strengths, sports, well-developed, NFL-ready frame with massive shoulders. NFL Scout said, quote, I wouldn't own any shirts with sleeves if I looked like that dude. That's works in the weight room to put on the freaks list. 425-pound bench press, 575-pound squat, 355 power clean. I'm not trying to diminish him. Those are unbelievable numbers. Savion Williams, our 3rd-round wide receiver, squats 600 pounds.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
Jacob said, could you imagine the cheeks on that guy? Posted fastest mile per hour at 15.13 in hoop drill at the combine. So, again, he ran 15 miles an hour in the hoop drill. So you look at the sometimes you look at the 40-yard dash, or you look at the 40-yard dash with wide receivers, and then you see them in the gauntlet like Puka Nacua, bad 40-yard dash. I think he was the fastest catching balls through the gauntlet when he came out. That mile per hour testing is really, really important.
Hey, real quick, just so we don't lose it. In the chat, they were having a weird little, not weird, but an interesting argument where they said they want to see Belton versus Sorrell. I believe Greg Rice brought it up. Greg Rice said that Belton had 20 reps, and then we obviously saw that Sorrell had 28 reps. And then you add in the fact that we're talking about an offensive lineman and a massive D end, and then our 3rd-round pick, Savion Williams, squats.
Swatted them.
It's like, what, dude? That is pretty
Goody going to work. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that is. It's Goody going to work, man.
Late night in the draft room with the lung dart, man. Love to see it. All right, where were we here? Physical, aggressive hands to deliver thunderbolts at contact. Love it. Maintains extension at contact, then disrupts blockers' balance to shed. Works in a variety of swipe rip moves when he attacks a blocker's edge. Keeps his hands tight to hold his ground in the run game. Quick thinking player to sniff out screens and chase them down. You've seen that all over the tape, by the way. Plays hard, motor doesn't run out of gas. High football character and viewed as a key leader in the Texas locker room. He was a team captain for 8 games in 24. Durable, didn't miss a game the past 3 seasons, finishing with 30 straight starts.
That's huge. I think when I heard that this morning from Ryan, that to me popped off the screen or the into my ears more than anything. Not missing a game in 3 years. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good, man.
Greg Cosell, this is his scouting report. We'll just hit the strengths and we'll keep it moving here. Showed some refinement as an edge pass rusher with multiple hand techniques to attack and defeat offensive tackle pass sets. Flash snaps of speed to power as edge pass rusher when he had room and could generate some velocity. Pass rush snaps from the 5 technique alignment in which he showed he could work half a man and clear the edge. Snaps of speed to power conversion with strong hand strikes versus offensive guard when aligned inside as a pass rusher. I seen one time he was playing 3 tech, which got me really, really excited there. Love to see that in the NASCAR package. Run game snaps, he showed the lateral quickness to play off initial contact and make plays outside of the box, consistently controlled and dominated tight end in the run game, physically dominated them at the point of attack to make plays, outstanding playing personality, high effort, high energy with competitiveness and aggression, snap after snap. All right. So here's what his coach had to say. Okay. This is from Barryn Sorrell's coach, Pete Kwiatkowski. Said, quote, "I saw him finally get picked and I thought it was awesome." He expressed his excitement watching Sorrell get drafted by the Packers, noting his enthusiasm for the moment and Sorrell's joy, which aligned with his family's supportive nature. Another quote from him was, "Because he's already a professional as far as he's going to show up, he's going to be on time, he's going to put in the work, he's going to work away from the facility when the coaches can't work with him. He's going to take care of his body," is what he said about his professionalism. Another quote, "He's not going to get into any issues off the field. He's going to be great in the community, and the coaches are going to trust him, and he's going to be dependable." All right. Next, whether he makes a lot of plays in the stats, that's yet to be determined, but he'll do all the dirty work, and he'll definitely be a positive influence on game day and in the offseason and at practice. He's been a steady improvement every year. It wasn't like there's all of a sudden this aha moment. He just kept grinding and working on it. Another quote, started playing more physical, started playing faster as he learned the defense, eye control. So he's talking about playing with good eye control. And that's some of the issues you run into with like Kingsley Enagbare, right? Sometimes he'll just pin his ears back and go, and it's like he has no idea where the ball is. When you turn on the tape with Barryn Sorrell, you truly see him. It's like this high IQ, this high awareness, this play rec that he has that's just kind of ingrained in him. We had some strong personality D linemen when he was a freshman, sophomore, junior. They all went to the NFL, and he fit right into the leadership role last year. We had a lot of guys that were similar, but he's the guy who has his house in order, and there's never any drama with him. Like, that's sign me up, man. Yep. So here's just a quick little breakdown of the fit with the Packers. Sorrell joins a pass rusher edge group led by Rashawn Gary with Lucas Van Ness, Kingsley Enagbare, and Brenton Cox Jr. You ever heard of him, Jake? Providing depth. Green Bay's pass rush, which tied for 7th in the NFL with 45 sacks in 2024, was inconsistent, with Gary's 7.5 sacks leading the team but lacking finishing ability. Sorrell's arrival adds competition and depth, particularly as a situational pass rusher who can spell Gary or Van Ness. His ruggedness and physicality, praised by Director of Football Operations Milt Hendrickson, align with Hafley's aggressive 4-3 scheme, which emphasizes attacking upfield. Sorrell's connection with Texas teammate Matthew Golden, drafted in the first round, fosters instant chemistry in a rookie class. His admiration for Gary, whom he studied in college, positions him as a sponge eager to learn from a Pro Bowler. expects Sorrell to compete for snaps and sub packages, leveraging his quick first step and hand-fighting skills to pressure quarterbacks. His sturdy run defense ensures he won't be a liability, potentially earning him early downs if he outperforms expectations. One of the clip that Ryan played on his pod today about Sorrell was this dude can play all 3 downs, and that's really exciting there. So outlook, as a rookie, Sorrell is unlikely to start but could see 10 to 20 snaps per game in rotational roles, particularly on passing downs. His special teams potential as an edge setter or pursuit player adds another avenue for playing time. Under defensive line coach Jason Rebrovich, Sorrell will focus. So that's wrong there. They get that wrong with Jason Rebrovich. Who's the new defensive line coach? What's his name? From New England, right?
Yes.
So Reb's out completely, right? He's the guy that can. So, God, what's his name? We talked about him. I need to do a write-up on him.
In the chat, I'll have it.
Tim would know. Tim would know if he was here. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for taking care of your marriage tonight, Tim. Covington.
Yeah,
there you go.
dude.
Thank you, Jesse. Coach Covington.
Yep. There you go.
That's who that was supposed to be typo there. Training camp battles against Green Bay's revamped offensive line, including second-round pick Anthony Belton, will test his readiness and what we were just talking about. Packer fans should be thrilled about Sorrell's blend of athleticism, intangibles, and draft day narrative. As general manager Brian Gutekunst stated, quote, "We've wanted guys who play with passion and fit our culture. Barryn checks every box. With the potential to become a double-digit sack artist like his athletic comps, Sorrell could emerge as a steal if he maximizes his traits. Keep an eye on his preseason performances, where his motor and leadership could earn him a larger role than expected." I know you got a couple things marked in there in the chat, Jacob. Let's hit them real quick, man, before we wrap up.
Yeah, just real quick, just pertinent to this conversation. Greg Rice says, "Well, who's on the bubble in that edge room?" So right off the top, is that
Cox Jr.
You shut your mouth. You don't you dare. You don't say that. To me it'd be Aaron Mosby, right? And then who was the other guy that was really showing some promise? Man, I can't remember. But